So this is the new swarm I got. Treated these a couple of weeks ago. So what I'm going to try and do is to separate these frames a bit. And if she's still where she was before, I'll just try with this one. And she's still on the frame she was on before. So I'm just going to put my camera down. Now, the queen is actually here on this frame. She's about in the middle of the shot here. You can see the white dot near enough right in the centre of the screen right now. Moving down towards the bottom, that's the queen I marked a few weeks ago. And in here, lots of brood, and they're just sealing it. So a couple of weeks in, this hive's doing really well. So I actually tried using this big bucket feeder here on this nuke to give them plenty of food. But to be honest, I think it just mostly spilt, and I don't want to attract. It's my crown board. All this nuke I made out of recycled materials. I checked they were suitable to use with these girls. I'm bringing all that pollen in there. Loads of pollen coming in. This is a really good little colony. They're doing really well. I'm really proud of them. So this old bucket feeder here, I think it just mostly leaked. I'm going to make up some more food. Let's put that out the way a minute. Yeah, should be fine there. I'm going to make up some more food later, but for now there's a wee drop left in here, so I'm just going to give these girls that for now. It's just a 1-to-1 sugar syrup. Sugar and water. Tiny drop of apple cider vinegar. I've just drilled some tiny perforated holes in the top. You can spend loads of money on a feeder. So sometimes things like this, they just work better. It's not. The weather's been a bit on and off, so they've not had a lot of time to go out. So I'm just going to put the lid back on that one. This one I'm not opening because I've requeened it, and she's possibly hatching and mating. So this is, which one's this? What's her name? This is Winnie. So we're not going to do this one. We're going to do Whitney and Wendy next. I'm just going to put this. So part of the reason I'm doing these videos, there's a couple of people who've asked me to do some mentoring and stuff, but they can't always get down here. So Whitney's the one I'm going to be working on next. And I'm not using tons, but I'm just putting a little bit of smoke around the area. A little bit, tiny bit on Wendy. And they're just leaving them to settle, because it can make them a little bit aggy at first. So it's really important to keep good records. I'm going to come back over here now, finish with these girls, and never sure which way to have this up when I'm recording. Guess I'll find out. So here's Winnie. We have a name on here, a name on here, and then we're not. These sort of sheets you can just download online, print them out. Makes it a lot easier. We got today's date, which I believe is the 2nd of the 7th now. Nearly put 6 and 16. Queen, we're going to tick that because we saw her. Queen cells none. Frames used 1. No, actually they're using about 4. But brood frames 1. Health 10. Farrow we haven't checked for. Feed. I'm going back to a smaller feed. No supers on this because it's a nuke. Temperature I'll probably write in afterwards to get it accurate. Don't really want to look. Oh, actually I can look at the thermometer here. A bit of a look. Yeah, it's about 15, 16. I'll put 16, feels nice and warm. Temperature 1, they're in a really good mood today. I'm going to write a note in here, sealing brood now. So that's that first one. And I'll put it back in its plastic wallet at the end. So now I'm going to do Whitney. And Whitney is hive B. So I've got my piece of paper ready for that. Let's go and have a look at her. Just going to take this time off. Put it down there a minute. Put a plant on top makes the hive look a bit different from above. When they're flying back in, it helps them find their way home. Also provides a nearby source of water with a pebble in so they don't drown. So I've lifted the lid off and I have a quick look on the inside, looking for bugs and beetles and stuff. They haven't really locked this crown board down, so I don't need to use my hive tool. Now whenever I'm removing anything, I have a look on the inside. There could be a queen on there, we don't want to lose her. Now I've got, not in the new one, but all the others, I've got one strip of apistan. Because at the time I put it in, there weren't a lot of brood frames and I was treating them like nuke hives. So this super that's on here isn't for collecting honey, I've got chemicals in. It's going to go under in the end. I'm going to have brood and a half. There's quite a lot of bees in here. I'm planning to build them up. So the last time I looked in here, they'd started to build brood up into these ones. I'm just going to see. So hopefully now you'll be able to see what I'm doing here. And I've got a hive tool just to hand over there if I need it. See here where they're not happy about the wire that goes in the frame and they've tried to chew it out. A little bit of pollen in there. You have created a gap. Honey being stored in that first one. There's a pollen and honey stored in here. Sealing the honey there. A little bit of frozen I'm just going to take that off. And I haven't got the chemicals in, that comes the meltdown and used for lip balm products and things like that. You see here at the bottom, make sure there's no queen on here before I move it away from the hive. That's here on there, another marked queen. I don't know how well you can see that, but at the bottom here, I've got an oval of brood, all sealed in. Some bigger ones here with drones, a few unsealed ones, and then all around it stores of food. And if you take this to the box that's underneath, you end up with like an oval shape, which is the kind of shape they build in the wild. You may just be able to see into some of these frames and see that there's little grubs in there ready to be sealed. So she's building up into the supers here well. Here's the queen. How well you can see her with that camera, I'll have to look afterwards. So that's her there. So you've got another queen sitting well on here. Beautiful laying pattern from her. I'm really chuffed with these. I thought I was going to lose these at one point. This is a queen I've bred this year. The first one that we looked at, tried any sugar. So I'm just going to see how well glued on this is. Rotate it slightly. Lift it up. There the queen's probably going now. So in the bottom here, got a dummy board. There's a bit of space. We're working out rolling the bees together. We have the frames close and we take them out like that. In the middle there the bees can get all squished and rolled about and they don't like that. Yeah. Again, they've tried chewing out the wire here. So they're building it back, they've given up, they've realised they can't chew it out. This is where she first went. Thinking of checking for other diseases again. I'll explain that in a sec. So I'm just watching here. Got a couple of bees near the edge. Now I'm putting it down at 45 degrees. And this means it's just like 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 small contact points. If I put it on straight, there's all this area here where bees are going to get squished. But here I've got 8 points where bees might get squished, so that lowers the risk. And then I can just slowly rotate and put that on. Any bees in the way will get pushed aside rather than squished. Okay, so this is Wendy. Another little queen I've bred myself. Another of my little homemade nukes. Again made from recycled material. See the pane that the neighbours were throwing up. And a little bit of soil breeding there, but not loads. Fit this little device here that can open and shut. And hopefully, let's just check this here. Oh, it's a fly. Thought that was a bee returning, but that's a fly on there. Be good to get some footage of one. Here's a bumblebee. Just having a drink underneath. But the idea now is that they can defend that hole a lot easier. There's only space for 1 or 2 bees to get in. The bigger bumblebees should struggle to get in and out of that. Hopefully that's going to keep them all a bit safer. I find that a bit easier. Here comes a bee. So my bees can fit through it easily. If anything, I can make that a little bit smaller. And they've got something, they can all get at the doorway, you're not coming in here. Protect that honey. Here comes another lot. They can definitely get in and out of that okay. I'm right in the flight path here, I'm really breaking the rules. But, here comes another returning foraging bee. Its legs are heavy and hanging down, so it's laden. So it's not come to rob this hive, because otherwise it'd be turning up empty. And it's just having a little bit of fun finding the doorway because of what I've done, I think. Here comes some more. And now they can find that doorway and they can get in. They've just got to relearn it because I've changed it. They'll get the smell. This will be an improvement to this hive, and when I do my next inspection I'll see a bit of a increase in stores. But they definitely weren't taking that sugar, but there's not a lot of them in there. It's a very weak colony as this. So I will be feeding it the whole time and hoping to get her going. And that's my hive inspections for today. So Wendy is weak, but hanging in there, I'm hopeful. Whitney's an awesome gal. Very busy. All the activity here. They're back on it, the sun's out and they are busy gathering and feeding all them young. So that is my best hive. And then my nuke here, with my collected swarm, also doing really well. And I'll have to wait a couple of weeks to find out if this one becomes Willie. She's going to be called. So all my bees' names begin with W and end in an E sound. So I've got Whitney, Wendy, Willie. What's the other one? Winnie. This one is. And the reason for that is that 2016 is a white year for marking. And didn't do A. Just got a C to write up. And so, because it's a white year and white begins with a W, I personally choose to call my bees by a W name. It makes it easy to remember the year. I'm kind of stood right in their entrance at the moment. There's quite a lot of bees gathering. And they're bringing in a lot of very, very white pollen. There's plenty of bees here to defend this hole. The hole can be big. This is on that other weak hive that struggle to defend it if raiders come. So a lot of activity here. It's a really good way of keeping like notes and records if you've got multiple hives. I've just got my jasmine is just flowering. Beautiful. These guys are right next to it. And I bet they don't go near it. But they go for something miles away. And that's today's inspection. Hope you liked it.